Hello friends, how are you? In this video we'll talk about ER diagram issues. Now in this section we discuss about the various issues in the design of an ER database schema. We'll talk about use of entity set versus attribute, use of entity set versus relationship set, binary versus NR relationship, and weak entity versus strong entity. Now first of all, it is what use of entity set versus attribute. Now we can see these two scenario. Say in case 1, say student table is there, student entity set is there, here roll number, name and subjects. Now subject is what? It is a multi-valued attribute. Okay. Now but we can define like this way: student, roll number and name, enrolled subject. Say subject ID, subject name and credits are there. These are the what? These are the attributes of the subject. And relationship is what? It is M is to N, and name of the relationship is what? Enrolled. So this is what relationship set. Now in this particular student table, here this is what our student table. The attributes are roll number, name and subject. So roll number, name, subject. So roll number 1, 1, 1. Now subjects physics, chemistry. Okay, maths. Roll number 1, 1, 1. Name Raju, Raju, Raju. Physics, chemistry, math. Roll number 2, 2, 2. Kabir, Kabir, Kabir. Physics, chemistry, mathematics. So definitely here using the roll number and name combination, we can identify the primary key. Okay, now here suppose we need to, if you need to store more information about the subject, we don't need only the subject name. Suppose we need the subject ID, we need the credit, we need the teacher name. In that case we have to identify, we should not use as a that particular information as a attribute. We should store as a entity set. Now subject here it is multi-valued, here it is what? It is entity set. Now suppose, so to store more information, extra information, any attribute define entity. So here you have to define entity instead of attribute. Now here say this is what student table is there. Okay, now two students are there, roll number 1 and 2, Raju and Kabir, and this is what our subject table, where subject ID, subject name and credit is there. Subject ID is the primary key. Okay, and this is what our enroll, it is MS to relationship is there. This is what our enrolled table. Okay, where roll number and subject ID is there. So roll number 1, 1, 1, subject ID S1, S2, S3. S1, S2, S3 means what? Physics, chemistry, mathematics. 2, 2, 2, that means 2, 2 means what? Kabir's subject ID S1, S2, S3. So physics, chemistry, mathematics. So we can say, can you say which one is a better table? So for me, I think this particular approach is the better approach, because here repetition of the informations are there. See here only, here we put the roll number and name. Suppose roll number, name, address, date of birth, all informations are there. So along with the subject, for distinct subject we have to repeat the whole things, means roll number, name, address, date of birth and so on. Are you getting this one? But here we don't require to repeat the things. Similarly, suppose here we want to insert a new subject. Are you getting this one? We want to insert a new subject. It is not possible here because no one has registered that particular subject. But in this case we can insert a subject. Okay, we can a new subject, say S4 is a new subject, name of the subject say computer science, say credit is 1. It is easily we can insert. Or suppose one student is roll number 3 is there, name says Rani and the subject name say it is music. Now roll number 3, Rani wants to leave this particular college, so we have to remove this information. So that means what? Simultaneously we are removing the music information, that particular information. Now suppose we want to change the instead of writing math, we want to change it is mathematics. So you have to change here. Are you getting this one? So these are called the anomalies. So insertion anomaly is what? We cannot insert new subject. Deletion anomalies, if you delete something, we remove the information of the subject. And update anomalies, so if you want to update, so you have to update so many times. So but if you break this table into 2 or 3 tables, easily we can manage the things. Are you getting this one? Now we can say another example, case 2, student has name. Now here name is attribute, here we assign as a entity set. Now name as entity set is not appropriate, it is sufficient to define as attribute. Are you getting this one? Now this is what extra means, it is not required. So we can define name of the define as a attribute. This particular portion is not required. So now decision whether we should use as an entity set or it is used as an attribute set is based on the meaning of the things and how much additional information we need to store. So if you need some more information about that particular attribute, definitely we have to define the entity set instead of the attribute. In another example, we can put say whether student attribute set is there. Here it is say roll number, okay, name, and whether we have to put phone number as a multi-valued attribute or we have to put phone number as a entity set. Are you getting this one? Say here also roll number is there, here also name of the student is there. Okay, now here you can say phone number and say operator name, operator, or you can say validity. Okay, it is a type whether it is postpaid or prepaid. Are you getting this one? So students have the phone numbers. So here phone number is sufficient, attribute is sufficient, or the entity. You have to take the decision which one is better. So I think this will be the better approach than this one, because anyhow to implement multi-valued attribute you have to break this into two tables. Now one more thing is there here, subject allot students. So here should be the students allotted subject. Now if it is a student, that means roll number is there, that means name is there, okay, and address is there. Now if it is a subject, okay, and if it is a subject ID must be there, subject name is there, okay, credit is there, okay, teacher name or faculty name is there. Now in allowed relationship set, no need to put roll number and subject ID explicitly. Now see, allotted is what? It is a relationship set. Now we can say subject, the attribute or attribute of the students, this is what? Roll number, name and address. Okay, now if it is a subject, okay, now here should be the subject ID, subject name, okay, say credit of this particular subject and the faculty. And what about the allotted? Because it is ME student, so we need to define the, right? So here the attribute should be what? It should be the roll number and the subject ID. This should be the attributes, but here it is not required to mention roll number and the subject ID, because it is implicit. It is understood that to form a relationship table we have to take one attribute from the primary key from both the entity sets. But suppose here we need to add some descriptive properties, say semester of this particular, in which semester that particular allotted, or the year of this particular allocation. So here explicitly we have to mention, that means semester as well as the year. Are you getting this one? So my main objective is to mention the relationship set. Here if it is required, so here we should not mention the primary keys of subject as well as primary keys of the both the entities, say roll number and the subject ID. Next is what? Use of entity set versus relationship set. Now here B is a entity set, here B is a entity set, but in this case B is a relationship set. So B is a relationship set, so it is related to both the entity set A and C, and here X is a relationship set which relates both the entity set A and B. So we have to take decision whether B is a entity set or B is a relationship set. Now we can say student subject allocation. Now here student table is there. This is what into student entity set, where two attributes are the roll number and name. Now here subject allotted. So here you see, assume it is a B. Subject allotted, it is a entity set. So that means what? There must be a subject table must be there. Are you getting this one? So roll number, subject ID and subject name. So using roll number and subject ID, we can identify the subject name, or we may add the marks also. So you can see this one. So one problem is there. So first is for redundancy. So S1 physics, S1 physics, S1 physics, S1 physics, that redundant informations are there. Similarly, S2 chemistry, S3 chemistry, and moreover anomalies are there. Suppose here subject table is not there. If it is not there, that means what? We have to keep all the information here. So already you have seen. Suppose you want to insert new subject, say computer science. Say subject ID S3, but no one has registered. But we know roll number is a part of the primary key, so we cannot insert this particular information. Say S3 computer science. Okay, say computer science, we cannot insert. Insertion anomalies. Suppose roll number say 5 is there. So roll number 5 subject name is S3 and subject name is computer science. Now roll number 5 needs to leave this particular college, so we can delete this one. So that means we are losing this one information also, subject ID and the subject name. And suppose we, instead of writing physics, PHY, you want to write physics, PHYSICS. So we have to update many times. Are you getting this one? So this particular information, to know the relationship, to establish relationship between roll number and subject ID, it will be better to represent as a relationship, not the entity set. Are you getting this one? We need one more entity set, that is the subject. That means what? It is extra. So student is there, subject is there. If you define subject allotted as an entity set, that means we are defining extra. These two relationships are the extra. So instead of doing this one, what we can do? We can write student. It is what? Entity sets. Subject, it is the entity set, and allotted or enrolled, allotted is the relationship set. Are you getting this one? So this is what our, so which one is better? So which one is small and crisp? So we can easily represent this one. This is what is a big one. So we have to take decision whether it should be the entity set or it should be the relationship. It should be the entity set or it should be the entity set. Next issue is what? Binary versus inner relationship set. Now say child is there, child, parent, father, mother. Now we can break this. Okay, so it is a ternary relationship. Now we can break this into this table, and it is a 3 binary relationship is there. Okay, now child, parent, father, mother. So child relationship with the parent. Okay, so child parent relationship, parent with the mother. So it is a parent mother relationship. Father with the parent, it is a father parent relationship. So here we can convert three ternary to binary. So some relationship that appears to be in non-binary could be actually be better represented by several binary relationship. Okay, so we can convert non-binary to binary. Okay, now but we have to define extra relationship set like this way. We have to define extra relationship set, which makes ER model complicated and sometimes we lose information. Okay, next is what? Placement of relationship attribute. Now here you can say student access locker. So here it is what you can see here. It is what? It is definitely it is 1:1. But student must have only locker and one locker. The owner of the locker must be one. So student, roll number, name, access locker, locker ID and locker type. Now here, so it is what? A 1:1 relationship is there. So here the attribute of this particular student table is what? Roll number and name. Attribute of locker is what? Locker ID and locker type. Now how to establish the relationship between student and locker ID? So in student section, in student table, we have to put the locker ID information as a foreign key. Are you getting this one? So here we don't require extra table for the access because it is 1:1 relationship set. Allotment date. So here you can put the allotment D. So you can write allotment D, allotment date. So here we require only 2 tables, student table as well as the locker table. Are you going to see? This is what our M:1 relationship is there. So one student must have only one department and must enroll in one admission should be in one department, and department have more than one student. So this is what m is to n relationship is there. So here the table should be roll number must be there, name must be there, okay. And here we have to put the department ID. And here this particular department table, department ID is there, department name is there, and name of the HOD is there. And how to establish the relationship between these two tables? Using this department ID. This is what our foreign key. Roll number is a primary key. So here in this case, if it is image to 1, we have to put the attribute relationship set. Attribute relationship means where the relation, because through department ID we can establish the relationship set relationship. So to that particular foreign key must be present in the M side. So M side is what? The student side, you have to put the here. Now we can see the second, if it is 1 is to M. So one student should have may have more than one phone number, and here it is what? So here the attribute should be what? For the student, the roll number, which is a primary key, name, and phone number. Here we have the attribute of the phone number entity set would be what? It should be the roll number. Okay, this is what our foreign key. Then phone number, phone type, okay, operator. And to form a primary key, we have to select these two to form a primary key. Now we can see here two tables are there. It is 1 is to M relationship is there. Now to establish a relationship, we have to define the foreign key, and that foreign key must be in the M side. So M side is in the phone side. We have to put the foreign key. Roll number. Roll number is what? It is a primary key of the student table, student entity set. Now the thing is what? Student subject. So it is what? M is to N relationship is there. So for the student, we need that the tables are, the attributes are roll number and name, and subjects, the attributes are subject ID and subject name. Are you getting this one? Subject ID is the primary key. Now allotted, we need another table. Say name of the table is what? Allotted. Here we may put the roll number and name and the subject ID. So roll number is a foreign key. Okay, that is the primary key of the student. Subject ID is the foreign key. That is the primary key of the subject. And with the help of this roll number and subject ID, we can form the key, which is nothing but the compound key. Now here we may put the semester. Here we may put the semester. Okay, and the year. And the year. Okay, so if it is M is relationship is there, so we need three tables. So for student table, subject table, and the allotted table. And one more thing is there. Here, if you put like this way, say 0.1, that means what? A student may have 0 phone number or 1 phone number, or it is like that. So not 0. If it is like that, 0 .m. A student may have 0 phone number or m number of phone number. Or if it is like that, 1.1, that means what? So you can say 1.1 means what? That entity A. Now two entities are there, A and B, and if you write 1.1, that means what? Minimum and maximum always should be the 1 single value. Now if it is a 0.1, minimum value should be the 0. 0 relationship may be there, or 1 relationship is there, maximum. If it is 0.m means what? Minimum 0 relationship or maximum n number of relationship. Okay, so if it is 0.n means what? A student may have 0 number of phone number or maximum m number of phone number. Similarly, if it is a 1.m, that means a student must have 1 phone number, maximum m number of phone number. And if it is a 1, that means students should have only 1 phone number. Are you getting this one? So in this way also we can define this one. Now finally we will talk about the weak entity set versus strong entity set. So weak entity set is what? Through this we can in weak entity set we can form the primary key. Say employee number is a primary key. But if it is a say dependent, so dependent is what? Dependent number, dependent name, and date of birth. So using this particular table we cannot form the primary key. That means it will be what? It must be depend on something, some other entity set. So this is called the owner entity set. So we have to define whether that particular that particular entity is a strong entity set or it is a weak entity set. We have to take the decision. Okay, and we can take the decision based on the meaning of this one or based on the situation. Are you getting this one? So if that entity is dependent on the owner entity set, so definitely that entity should be the weak entity set, and the relationship is also weak. It is a double diamond, and here the relationship always it is total. Getting this one? So we have to take whether the entity is a strong entity set or it would be the weak entity set. And that is the end of this particular video. Thank you very much. In the next video we'll talk about extended feature of ER diagram.